Hello guys, welcome back to the Beastie Room. Right, we've been getting back on track now with some of our breeding attempts, and we've put out a couple of pairing videos of late, and we've got more to come as well. And this often creates the questions, about breeding, all the different things that we do to get our spiders ready for breeding. And it also poses another question, which has come up a couple of times now. And this is about crossbreeding, or breeding two different species of spider, two different genus of spider, or whatever, to make something a bit unusual. Well, this is a really bad idea, and it's not a good idea at all. So it's something that should be frowned upon immensely. It's very, very important that when we breed our spiders that we actually make sure that we have got two spiders from exactly the same group, so that we don't crossbreed. Now, there has been times with some of the Pamphobeteus, some of those have been crossbred. I think the Aminias and the Cambridgei have been done. There is no benefit to the hobby or to anything else or the spiders by doing this. It is in actual fact detrimental. Now, the only saving grace is that most of the time when this has happened, the offspring are often infertile, which is an absolute godsend, but it doesn't happen to be all the time. So we have to be very, very careful. So this actually made me sort of think about a genus of spiders that we have here, and that is the Pamphobeteus. Now, we've got a number of them here, and I thought we'd have a little look at them because it's an interesting thing. Watch the water bottle. It's an interesting thing that with the Pamphobeteus, they all look very, very similar. And it really is an absolute minefield as to picking them apart. And full credit to the people that can truly identify these guys as one from another, because it really is not that easy. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not particularly good at it. I totally rely on the information I get when I get the spider. So if someone tells me it's a Machala, I expect it to be a Machala, or whatever it may be. Now, it just occurred to me the other day as I was going through and feeding a few bits and pieces how similar these guys are. And we have actually got a couple that came in collections, and all we've got is Pamphobeteus. Well, that's a lot of help, isn't it? We haven't got a clue what they are. And trying to actually identify them is a whole new game in itself. So them spiders end up being put on the shelf because we can't even sell them on, because what do we sell it as, And then that just passes the problem on to someone else. So here in the Beastie Room, we have spiders like that. We hold on to them until we know exactly what they are. And even then, when we get one identified, we will normally look at getting it identified by someone else as well to see if they come up with the same theory. If they're different theories, then we're back to square one. We're not 100%. So we have to be very, very careful. So I thought what we do is we'd have a little look at some of the ones that we've got here, just to emphasize the problems that that we're explaining now. Now, I guess what we can do, we can take the lids off of these. Now here we have got 4 different spiders. Now they're all Pamphobeteus, but they're all different. And I tell you, trying to see the differences, are absolutely crazy. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to take the lids off. Now these guys are fairly steady if you don't touch them. So we can take the lids off and we can have a good look. Now, I'll take these up, put them up here out of the way. Is that okay for you to see? Right, now the first one that you were looking at just then, if we can, we're having a quick look now. It might pay to come round here, get a really nice look. Better get my paintbrush ready. Right then, now this first one here the one that we're looking at now, this is the Pamphobeteus vespertinus, which is the Ecuadorian red bloom. Now this is a really, really pretty spider, and you can see the markings on the legs, very, very striking. And when it's freshly molted, this one had molted out around about maybe 3 months ago now, maybe a little longer. They start to go a little brown, but it was really had a real lovely red hue to it. Now we can see there it's turning slightly brown. Now we'll get into that in a minute when we can look at some Machalas. Now over here, this one here, this is the Pamphobeteus nigricolor. Now these are all adult females, and the nigricolor's common name is the common blue bloom. No blue on that, so not very helpful. Next door we have the Platyoma. Now you can see there with the two of them in the same picture, they are almost identical. Now the Platyoma is commonly known as the pink bloom. And then right over on the far side we have the Pamphobeteus Goliath. Now the one thing's for sure, out of the four that we've shown so far, the Pamphobeteus Goliath, which is commonly known as the Santo Domingo Goliath, and as you can see there, she's just raised up. She is one bad-tempered spider, and she has got the attitude from hell. Very, very quick to defend herself, whereas the others are, they're quite happy. They'll defend themselves, but they'll kick hairs and stuff first. She tends to rear up the Goliath. Now, as you saw with all of those, they look very, very similar. And I'll be honest, most of them, if the label fell off, I'd be at a loss as to what it was. So it just sort of shows that the importance of, labeling our spiders, making sure we know exactly what it is. Now, when you look back through this video and you look at these spiders again, they are all so similar. It's an absolute minefield.
You don't normally have the pleasure of seeing them all together either, do you?
No. When we quite often, it's quite right, yes. As Camera Lady said, we don't get the pleasure of seeing them side by side like this, So quite often, when we get one come in singly in a collection or whatever, and it's just got Pamphobeteus on it, we're at a loss. We have to look at it, and then we can't be 100% certain. I don't think I'm good enough at literally identifying these spiders that I would 100% say it is one or the other. So it's very, very difficult. And because of that, it's one of the reasons why we've held back trying to breed this particular genus of spider. Because, it's making sure that we are actually getting the right things all together. Now this one's about to get on the move. They don't do a lot, I'll be honest. They're pretty stable spiders. She's just having a little move around. They're very, very simple to care for. We've tried doing them in different ways. We've tried having them on really dry like these are now. And we've also kept them damp. They seem to do equally well in either way. As they are at the moment, these are in like maintenance enclosures. They literally are they're just held in these enclosures. And then when we come round to breeding them, we can pair them up, and then they will go into deep enclosures where they can actually burrow down and do a bit more. But they're very, very steady spiders, to be fair. Right, so what we'll do is we'll put the lids back on them. We'll get them out of the way, and then we'll look at some Machalas, because the Machala is one of the common Pamphobeteus that we see in the hobby. It doesn't make it any easier because they're common. But one of the things, there you go, that Goliath, see, she's just kicking up a little bit of hair now. She's very, very, she's a temperamental spider, that one. She was the one that came in the collection, and she has always had a bad mood about her. She's always very quick to defend herself. Right, so now we're going to look at some Machalas. So this is a different one again. Now these are all Machalas, but the interesting thing we can see here, as we see with many spiders, is we can actually see the difference in the molts, in the molt cycle, I should say. So here we are. Take the lids off. Again, generally speaking, these spiders are very, very steady. They've got no intention of really going anywhere. So it means we can actually take the lids off like this and they're generally okay. Now then, if we have a look at these are all the same species. These are all the same genus, Pamphobeteus, Machala. But look at the difference in them. Now the one you're looking at now, this one here has been paired. This one here is getting ready. I'll turn this one around so you can see it. There you go. Now look at the difference. We've got now this one here. When we look at this one, it's very brown. And you can see there on the knees and what have you, it's really quite pink. So I don't know if we'll try and get it to open up a little bit. Here we go. It's nice and gently. There we go. You can let go of the paintbrush now, it's fine. So as you can see there, this one is actually showing quite signs of brown. So this means that it's actually further on in its molt cycle. Now if we go to the one next door, this one is a little bit behind. You notice it's still brown, but it's like a chocolate brown. It's got more of a darker colour to it. And it's very, very shiny on here. This isn't shiny in terms of things, the way the light is catching the hair. So it's actually got a fully haired bum. It's not bald. But this one is more sort of a chocolatey colour, more a darker brown. And then if we go to the next one, which is the one that has been paired, this one here, this girl here, this one is quite freshly molted. And you can see there that she's almost black. You also see the abdomen there. Look at the hairs, the guard hairs on the abdomen. Really, really nice. So when they first molt out, they are really quite spectacular. And then as they go through their molt cycle to the point to where this is the one out of the four, this one is closest to molting. So you can see the difference. It's from black to brown. So we can tell by their colour how far along they are in their molt cycle, which is really useful for when we're breeding, because the blacker they are, the closer they are to being freshly molted. So it makes a big difference, and it's very helpful for when we're trying to pair our spiders. Now as you can see there, we've got 4 of the same spider, and yet they all look very, very different. And this just emphasises the problem of identifying these guys if you're not 100% sure of where they've come from or the information that they came with. So it's a really it's a really troublesome part of the hobby, is trying to identify some of these spiders. And it's not just the Pamphobeteus. The Pamphobeteus, they're another one. They can look very, very similar. So it just, you know, lots and lots of people out there are wanting to breed their spiders. And I guess what I'm saying to you is, make sure you're 100% certain of the origin of your spiders before you actually pair them together. You know, it's something that we need to do as keepers. It's our responsibility to make sure wherever we're breeding the right thing. So we'll do them. Now we've got 2 more spiders here that we can have a look at. These are just some of our collection of Pamphobeteus, and we will have a couple of pairing videos of these guys coming up very, very soon. So we're going to put the lids back on these. Now, you notice how nice and calm and gentle they are. Right, I'll put these ones over here. Now we'll have a look at these. Now this one here, this is one that came in. This is only a youngster. Now this one came in and we haven't got a clue what it is. All it had on it was Pamphobeteus. Now you can see it's quite freshly molted. It's nice and black. It's got that lovely abdomen. It's just testing the paintbrush out now. Look at that. You notice it's not biting it or anything. It's just checking to see what it is. See what the problem is. Something alien in its enclosure. You notice we're not getting any aggression here. It's just curious. They are. They're absolutely beautiful. But we don't know what it is. You know, maybe some of you guys in the comments, you might have an opportunity. Maybe someone that recognises it. But this brings us to another problem. Often on Facebook, we will see people post a picture of a spider and they're like, can you identify my spider? Now this is something that's a little bit of a pet hate of mine, and the problem is with social media, everybody wants to try and help. Now what I would say, and would be helpful if everybody could do this, is when someone puts a post up and they want a spider identified, you will very, very rarely ever see me comment on that particular post. And 9 times out of 10 is because unless you are 100% certain of what you think it is, there is no need to comment. You know, we get so many people, they comment and they comment. Some of them are blatantly wrong. You know, they'll sit there and it's not even in the same genus, you know, and you're like, where on earth did you get that idea from? So, you know, if you're not 100%, don't comment. It's so much easier, because all you do is you just add another spider name to a long list of names, and now it's just a complete free-for-all. And the poor person who actually put the post up hasn't got a clue, and they're none the wiser now, because they've now got 20 different spiders to choose from. It's really not helpful. So please, if you're not 100% sure, don't comment. It's got to be better. You know, there is no need to comment. Right, now we've got one more to show you, which is my favourite of this genus. I think these are absolutely beautiful. And this is the Pamphobeteus Cascada. Look at that. What an absolute gem of a spider. Look at the colouring on that. Now, funny thing is, I think this is probably the prettiest one out of all of them. And it's got the worst name. It is the Cascada bird eater. There was no imagination in that name whatsoever. We got pink blooms, purple blooms, all sorts. And then we got the Cascada bird eater, which is pretty much what everything gets named. If it's above a certain size, it's called a bird eater. So it's not very helpful. But this spider is absolutely gorgeous. Look at that peach colouring. Now, we'll try and get her to open up a little bit. She's not always the... can be a little bit jumpy, this one. But we'll try and get her to open up, because you must see those legs. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that just fantastic? In fact, I need a photo of that myself. That is absolutely beautiful. These guys really are something special. We will see one. You'll see a picture of that now go up on the Facebook page. Absolutely lovely. She's settling down again now. Now this is one that we're really keen to actually pair up in the future. She's a little bit young at the moment, so we've got a little bit more to go. But what a special spider. Very, very pretty. Right then. Well, hopefully we've sort of got across the importance of 100% knowing what we've actually got. You know, it's very, very important for the future of the hobby, for the future of the spiders that we care for, everything. We need to be 100% certain that what we're getting together are in fact the right thing. Now, there will always be people that will disagree with what do you call it, an ID of a spider. And, you know, but you've got to go with the people that you feel are actually knowledgeable enough and you can trust the information that they're giving you. Very, very important. Don't just go asking someone on Facebook that you've never heard of before. You know, if the best way to do it, if you want something identified, is find the people that are actually breeding those and private message them. Do it that way and you will get the right information. It will be the best way to go. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed looking at our Pamphobeteus spiders. We have a few. They really are very, very cool, if not just a little frustrating, but they are lovely. All right then, don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. And I will see you soon, guys.